I thought I would talk a little bit in a video format about censorship. I received notice that one of my getting close to 3,000 YouTube videos was marked for a flagging or a suspension or something, and it basically becomes a precarious situation where multiple of these flaggings could terminate my account, which fortunately I have most of the videos I've ever done on backup hard drives somewhere in total chaos. But all the incredible amount of time and bandwidth and computer resource it takes to upload my videos would then be squandered should my account be put into jeopardy. And the trouble with the larger picture of this censorship of YouTube comes somewhat from like my being burnt out on it completely comes somewhat from the problems with the Los Angeles artistic community, which I like to live in California and had a few close friends down in Los Angeles and was often going to rock shows. I didn't even necessarily want to see the band, but I thought, oh, hey, this is cool. Let's document the fact that there's so many vibrant creative people here in the scene. But it ended up kind of becoming almost like a painful joke because I would be working very hard to document things, upload things, and sometimes receiving a lot of positive attention and or people kind of knowing who I was and harassing me to, oh, have you made a movie? Oh, would you send us footage? Oh, tell us when it's on YouTube. So, like, I was getting a lot of that. But then later on, there ends up being like a negative, oh, take that down. I have a new manager and they say I can't have this. So, it's sort of like being a bit of like a slave to these very narcissistic artistic people who don't understand that your capacity as making a film is its own artistic thing, and they think it's all about them and their content and their music, which it really isn't, because there's so many different angles you could get. And often, like, stylistically, I'm kind of like extremely existential and withdrawn, and there are many times I could get a better angle, but I don't like invading artist space, so I often would hang back in the very background and just kind of capture my feeling of being far away from them. So it's like I'm capturing my vision. So the latest takedown request, I had a request to take down about 5 of maybe like 20 videos I have of this one artist down in LA, a friend. And he demands these ones to be removed, and I sent him my ever so emotional, like, oh, do you realize your manager is trying to creatively hamper you and stifle you by attempting to remove your historical evolution of your creative craft, blah, blah, blah. So I succumb because he's in a tizzy over it. And I just feel like, what? This is so lame. So I'm like, okay, well, how about instead of I delete it, how about I just call it Remove History 1 through 5, which I have, and I have many other things. And like today, the thought dawned on me, why not just title all 3,000 of my films like Remove History 1 through 2,688? And the new ones I took today could be also called Remove History. And we could just have it completely generic, and nobody could have a name. Nobody would be able to search index themselves. Nobody would look it up. And then hopefully nobody would ever get any attention. And what I always felt that was very important with these music people is I know how hard it is to be a struggling artist. So I thought, well, I don't have money. I don't have much of anything, but I have a little camera. So if I make some films of their work, potentially it could contribute to their larger notoriety or success or attention in booking gigs. So I never really get credit for that. No, it's kind of like a take it for granted kind of thing. Nobody says, oh gee, thanks for helping me sustain. And I mean, a few or one person thanks me. So then today I find, okay, well, somebody's flagged this video. The video was made as a protective, in some ways I'd say self-sacrificial film to protect anybody who might be harassed or stalked as I was by a particularly unfortunate character I met. So he's reported my video for inappropriate contact, causing my account to be like in some kind of gray zone of not suspended but in trouble. And he purportedly supported Occupy and then other freedom of information style potentially but it's like he's not freedom of information. He doesn't want the world to know how he stalked me and abused me and threatened to destroy my property and attempted to force me to look at really offensive things and made violent threats and made all kinds of violent implications as well as like bribery attempts at me. So it's like he wants that all secret, and I kind of thought, well, he's probably moving on to the next victim, so I should possibly just share my story in case this is a serial thing. So in successfully having this video deleted, which I may have somewhere back on a hard drive, he's essentially censoring this information so he can continue to stalk and abuse other women, no doubt, with impunity. And the preventative function which I sought to share the horror story that he became with the public, and also with his family, because I fear that if he felt so free to abuse me, he might also similarly abuse his daughter. That it was a public service to let the public know what kinds of predatory activity were going on there. And so, despite the restraining order, he's now attempting to get my YouTube account out. And this is where I realized he didn't understand a restraining order in Los Angeles to mean he shouldn't harass me on Twitter. And now he doesn't understand a restraining order in two cities to mean he should bug off my YouTube. And where this is going, I guess I possibly should call the police. I don't really know, but he's just terribly creepy. And it is predatory, and it is stalking of me. And it is potentially a destruction of my creative capital. Like, if my YouTube account were successfully censored by this Occupy dude, Occupy will have... It's like an iron curtain. I'm like, what are you, Stalin? What is this, the Cold War, and you're trying to censor me? The public has a right to know what you said to me and what you did to me. I'll keep making more art so long as I'm alive. So in many ways, it doesn't matter. And the public has a right to know. All the open information people want to censor everything. They've blocked all my tweets. I'm like the most highly censored blogger who blogs about WikiLeaks. I'm like, yeah, the open information has blocked me. I don't even exist. And all they want to like tear down my YouTubes. Ah! What a can of worms it is. The internet. Just a can of worms.